Us. Good morning, patriots. Good morning, citizens. Good morning, denizens of the Grandstream live chat. Good morning, live gang. Mary's board. Rose White. Good morning, Jacinta. John Francis. Alan Curran. John Doyle. F. Aaron Carthy. Shamrock 1966. And a very good hi ho, and I'm welcome and a good morning to you, folks. How are you all this morning? I see the conversation in about Dr. Buttar straight off the bat, Tommy. I'm going to spend today doing my utmost to reach out to him today as well, and to see if I can get him across. Should also any of you recommend that he come on to the stream as well, please make your voice be heard and email him. You might consider it as well if he sees a few of your emails coming towards there as well. Right, before we get started, this, then this, and then also this. A lot of criticism over and amongst the circles over here for this, but, you know, think about it. Support what you love. So as the thumbnail suggests or talks about, I want to talk about in relation and tying back into Dr. Buttar. Let me first of all also say, live chat, as the room fills up, good morning, good morning, good morning. It seems to be a little bit quiet this morning. I wonder where everybody is. Welcome on, welcome all. So I was talking common sense last night. Mark Windows. I'll have a look out for that one, Vincent. All things plague of corruption. I don't know if any of you... I've left the link in the description box for Value Entertainment. Very good YouTube channel. There's amazing interviews. But he is following up and following along with Dr. Buttar as well in relation to all things Corona Chan. This lady, this woman that's just sprung out after 5 years of being under a media gag, and I know a great number of you will understand how frustrating it is being placed under a gag like that in relation to our circumstances in Ireland and in connection with Tulsa. I know many people that I've spoken with that are under a media gag that was then issued by our Minister of Children, but we won't go down that path this morning. Good morning, Anne. Thanks for joining us. Welcome aboard. And to you, Moscow 1996. This lady, Judy Merkovich, if I'm probably not pronouncing it right, but if she is bona fide, if she is proven credible, which I believe wholeheartedly that she is, hence why I have put the thumbnail up to advertise her book, which I encourage you all to download. I encourage you to follow the link down below for Value Entertainment. It's a 53 to 55 minute interview, possibly more. But I've watched it last night. I watched it this morning. Speaking with Angry Dad last night. I'll get on with that thought from Angry Dad. Angry Dad, us brother. Let me try and gather my thoughts, because there's so much I kind of want to push out after last night's revelation. If you do indeed follow through, and I encourage you again, go listen to that interview from that woman. She quite potentially is up there along the lines of William Binney. Those of you who understand who William Binney is, one of the most prominent of whistleblowers to come forward in relation to intelligence, the intelligence community's collection of data and information, how they do it, how they've gone about it, and how they've bypassed regulations, FISA courts. All of this is starting to spill out. And we'll touch back on that in regards to what I am considering and what I'm trying to say is an inversion of 2016. And I say an inversion of 2016. We're at that point. Sorry about the t-shirt there today, but I thought I'd get the Gran Torino out a little bit this morning. And I want to say also, oh, woe is me, a barber, my kingdom for a barber. As the phone rings. Who's ringing me at 9 o'clock in the morning, you might ask? I don't know. Facebook friends, thank you also for joining us over there if you're viewing us from over in Facebook. Josh Whelan said, pops over there. Good morning to you, Dr. Butler. Has it? Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, Dr. Butler is very much heavily censored. All his information that's coming out in regards to all things. Will the algorithms be triggered? Homeopathy. I know a great many of my friends and past acquaintances are involved in the homeopathy business, but Dr. Butler comes from that. And again, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to this information, nice one, Maria. If you're new to that information, you have to go back and do a little bit of follow-up. Dr. Butler's series of interviews with Judy is extraordinary, to say the least, informative. But the last night's conversation, which was only released with Value Entertainment, is a game changer. And again, like you can see, I don't want to relay too much of the information, but remedies, cures, situations, mass genocide, targeting of blacks, and I'm going to say blacks. I'm not going to say people of color. I know if Eunice is in the and any of you in their racial politics aside, if you are a black person, that's imperative that you watch that. Eunice, good morning. Thanks for joining me, brother. Let me see there. Where are you, Eunice? Let me just want to throw that up. Eunice, it's imperative that you watch that as well, because black people were targeted. They understood that if they were to give the vaccinations, that black children under 3 years of age were going to be compromised. And some of the language and conversation in the then revealed emails shows the utter contempt for people of color, for black people, for human beings in essence. If this is what it is, this is a game changer. If we do indeed have the Trump administration, as President Trump has said, investigating the 3.7 million grant that was given to the Wuhan laboratory, if Judy's assertions in her career as a scientist involved with how do they describe it? Biochemical program, which she was involved at the very start with Fauci. And Fauci's been in at it for the start. If the crimes against humanity are actually prosecuted, I mean, we're talking about going back to HIV, to the inception of HIV. Don't forget, HIV is also a constituent of this COVID-19. It is in there. The Japanese, we have the Japanese Nobel laureate, virologist, immunologist coming out and saying, quantifying before peer review, I suppose, before his assertions, but we'll say allegedly for this morning's conversation, that the COVID-19 is a manufactured. It is not born out of nature. It did not come out of a wet market, and it cannot be cross-contaminated for bats, because the bat genes would utterly destroy the human genes before it could be processed and passed on. So this, as is becoming more clear and is becoming more and more alleged, let's quantify it, and it is now becoming provably clear that this was a manufactured, contrived pandemic to cover up crimes against humanity, stretching back as far as cancer cures, HIV, MERS, the SARS, foot and mouth disease. This has huge implications all the way through for everything like that. And Eunice, I'm just pointing out, and I really am appreciative of your subscription and your support. And I welcome you here, and I welcome everybody, as we always do, to be part of the Gran Torino experience, because this is affecting us all. We're all in it together, brother. We're all in it together, sister. Yeah, so like the book is out on Amazon. I've left a link in the description box as well for the book in Amazon. I am going to go and poor choice that today, and I will be spending my time. I'm going to put down the books that I'm currently engaged with, which is Zulu, and I'm still tracking my way through the HPV vaccine on trial by our friend, our very good friend Elaine Lorio. Sorry, I'm a bit combobulated this morning. Yeah, so let me get through this quick scan. But so I go back to the thing what I was saying as well. Now, do your investigation. Please do follow up on that interview afterwards. It's very informative, quite revealing, and quite startling. Link is in the description box. Please go and encourage. And hence the reason I have the thumbnail up for that book is to propagate that message, is to amplify that message. It's not to deprive or take away from Value Entertainment's startling, stunning, and very professional interview. What an amazing setup. What an amazing show along the lines and comparable with London Real with Dave. Huge professional setup. John Francis, yes, I did a little bit. Did my 20 press-up star jumps, pull-ups. I do a little bit extra. I add a little bit on. But then I sorted myself out for a shower this morning. I see the Kiss curl is coming back. Look. My barber, when are the barbers coming back? For God's sake, please release the barbers. I want to jump over to this, and I want to go back now and steer back towards my saying that we are in an inversion period of 2016 because General Flynn is now being touted for exoneration, not only for a pardon. He should also be pardoned, which was another journalist's summation, that to doubly ensure that he cannot be prosecuted again should President Trump indeed lose. And there is every chance that, it's a cow's lick, GT. Thanks, Mary. There's every indication, and we should not lose sight, that Biden or whoever comes in to replace Biden at a later stage as we get towards the election period for the United States, which we think the Democratic Party are now gearing towards. It's plainly clear that Joe Biden is not capable and is in no fit state mentally and physically to be the president of the United States. They are propping him and holding him up there, which I would believe would be for a late entry. He's not being prosecuted for Uranium One or any of the dealings over there with his son, Hunter Biden, as yet. Because he is running as a candidate, you could not be prosecuted if you are contending an election. It's against the law. But William Barr has also said, thanks, Marmalade. William Barr has also said that John Durham's investigations do not at present cover anyone that is running for presidential election, which our friend Dave over at X22 pushed out. And many of you I know would have been pushing out with Dave. Good morning, Annie H. 4 a.m. in the morning. Fair play to you up at this hour of the morning. It's a relatively overcast day here in Ireland. But the inversion, let's not flip-flop. Let's keep spinning plates. Many of you, you understand, you're aware of the concept. We have many plates of thought, many conversations, many different trains of thought on the go at any one time. But I want to get through this article as well. President Trump doesn't rule out rehiring an exonerated Michael Flynn. On Monday, during his daily coronavirus task briefing, President Trump was asked whether he would bring General Flynn back into his administration if Flynn was exonerated from his involvement with the infamous Mueller Spygate probe. President Trump said, "I will only say this. I think that General Flynn is a wonderful man. He had a wonderful career, and it was a disgrace what happened to General Flynn. Let's see what happens now. But what happened to General Flynn should never happen again in our country. And indeed, what happened to your president, as the President Trump has said, should never happen again in this country, in that country." Earlier this week, President Trump retweeted a post from Fox Business anchor Maria Bartiromo. What a fantastic show. Always knocking it out of the park. Big follower of Maria. That her sources told her that Flynn could be completely exonerated as early as next week. In 2017, during the Mueller investigation, Flynn pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI about his communications with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak. However, the plea was obviously forced as the prosecutor allegedly threatened Flynn's son and were bankrupting the former general in legal fees. And he is indeed, many balls in the air, absolutely, Maria. He is indeed bankrupt, and I know on one of his websites they're doing a fundraiser for him. Sorry, a little bit of coffee. No Logos juice yet. This afternoon, the government produced to Mr. Flynn stunning Brady evidence that proves Mr. Flynn's allegations of having been deliberately set up and framed by corrupt agents at the top of the FBI. Flynn's attorney said in an 8-page filing on Friday. According to Flynn's attorneys, the evidence defeats any arguments that a key interview with Flynn on January 24, 2017, the interview with the FBI where the prosecutors claim Flynn lied, was material to any investigation, just the news reports. In other words, the entire case against Flynn was built on a lie, and he did nothing wrong, This would make Flynn an entirely free man. After all that he has been through, Flynn deserves his job back should he choose to seek it, even if it's just to own the libs, and it would be sweet, poetic justice. I believe that General Flynn will be reinstated in the Trump administration in time, in some way, shape, or form. Marmalade says Flynn for the new C_A, which I agree with as well. Possibly not, because he was military intelligence. He has a 30-year career, military intelligence operator, number one, third star lieutenant general. He knows where the bodies is buried. He served with under the Obama administration, which is critical when you consider and you bring in the Attorney General of the time. Obama's Attorney General, I don't want to mix up the name hive mind. He's on the tip of my tongue. He's obviously coming back into the line of fire now, because he was running cover for the Obama administration into the quashing of journalists, but also in the quashing of information. Live chat, just bring me out there. Obama's Attorney General, another person. Yeah, what's his name? It doesn't pop up to me at the head there. Come on, live chat, bring it out there. Pop it out to me. I know you know it out there. Morning, Dave. Dave from Computing Forever joins us, and we will be speaking towards Computing Forever. Dave, what is Obama's Attorney General in his administration? He's now working for the very same board of firms, or the solicitors that represented General Flynn in his first prosecution and did not give him. No, that's not a Keith. Not the Trump administration Attorney General. We're talking about Obama's. Eric Holder. Thank you, Maria. That's the fella. Eric Holder was running cover for Obama's Department of Justice and for his not for pay for play. That was the guns that got taken up by the cartel. Oh, and it's not Benghazi. It's another Eric Holder. Yeah, it's another scandal that has been obfuscated over the years. No, not Barr. Eric Holder is the one. But that's coming into play now as well. So the inversion process is that at the very start of President Trump's administration, the first person to fall was General Flynn. He was removed from the administration. You know that President Trump had to sack him straight off the bat because of these charges that were brought up. Then followed Paul Manafort, who was loosely associated for fundraising and other stuff with the Trump campaign. Mueller then tried to prosecute that, or the FBI indeed tried to prosecute that and get him to turn and flip on President Trump. So then, obviously, to bring on more impeachment charges. That didn't work. Manafort was dirty. He did have a book, he did have a corruption trail, and there was paperwork, serving a 10-year sentence, I believe, currently. But then it follows on then to Roger Stone. Roger Stone is then currently supposed to be going to jail today, probably, or this coming Thursday. That could indeed be held up now, because what is being revealed by Sidney Powell, General Flynn's current representation, is that exculpatory evidence was withheld from the judge in the General Flynn's case. So that is now being called back in. These were made clear by FOIA requests, and as the article said, I think it was the Davies. Back up the top here under. I do apologize. Anyway, it's not there. The information was gathered under certain requests, so that's going to be prosecuted. So if we invert that and lead to the legs of the Toronto trials, once I believe Roger Stone is pardoned or exonerated, should his charges are completely scurrilous as well. It's been provably clear that he had no foreknowledge of the WikiLeaks dump, which he has been accused of cooperating and working with the Soviet Union or the Russians, that thereon led into the Russiagate that we obviously had. Yeah, absolutely. Check out that, Daisy. That's absolutely, and it's actually detrimental. I'm not going to say this now. I encourage you to watch that interview. Thank you for that, Daisy. There's so much highly informative, some fantastic information there that needs to be understood and disseminated. Push it on, propagate it, push it out there. But I want to go back to my inversion theory. So what I'm presuming, or what I'm saying to you, is once we get past the stone stage of exoneration or a pardoning, I then believe the prosecutions will begin of the low-level players. Stroke Page comes to mind immediately, because they were then forced to give up their testimonies to Congress. So they will then be prosecuted. Should they give state's evidence, or should they turn, which I believe the evidence trail already, they've been tapping their lines, will then lead on to McCabe. McCabe will then lead on to Comey. And then we crack on after that. If those senior members of the FBI organization, as it was 10, those that were the corrupt, those that were under the influence of the Obama administration, because all things lead back to the Obama administration, and Obama knew about Clinton's secret server. I remind you that a judicial watch under Tom Fitton have prosecuted or have filed, subpoenaed Google for Gmail. They might have a copy. They should have a copy. It's an easy lead in to the 33 missing emails, which Hillary Clinton has to testify under oath within the next coming days, or she'll be in contempt of court. She does not want to do that. She has written summations. She has requested to give written answers, but no, the judge has said, no, you must testify under oath. And that's going to open up a whole can of worms. That's the supposition. That's what I'm leading to. Again, this is all going to be belayed because of November, because of the elections coming up. Is this going to be prosecuted? Will Durham be released? Will the Inspector General's report? Is Christopher Wray a white hat? Is he a sleeping cell for the white hats? If you go down that train of thought, a lot to uncurl there, a lot to unfurl. But that's, for me, is one clear line of prosecutions that could take place. But with the Judy Merkovich whistleblowing coming out now, she's been under media gag. She's only just come off the hook. Very convenient, as you say, but it's still nonetheless very important, crucial evidence that needs to be understood and disseminated and propagated on your social media forums, because this affects us all. It affects us all. And it seems to be we could be on the precipice of something huge. Huge, I tell you. Not to make light of it either, though. All right, chat. So where was I going to go after there? How many of you guys, please stop saying that, GT. Please stop saying that. How many of you have seen Dave McSavage? Dave McSavage's Isolation Chamber comedy. Dave, bravo. Dave McSavage, bravo. It could be a play on words, way, but what a clever use of comedy. And I encourage you to go over it. I'm not going to play it today because of the seriousness and what I want to inform you today of that interview and that information. But those of you in the Republic of Ireland, you know who Dave McSavage is, and his latest little tweet out there was an absolute game changer. I was splitting my sides last night. Please do get over and cover that. Okay, I want to get, as we have Dave in the house, if Dave is still, Computing Forever is still in the house, I want to be a big props out. I hope many of you have tuned in and watched Computing Forever's last video drop. I have it queued up here. The Rationalization of Tyranny. I'm sure Dave won't mind me just displaying this. I'm not going to play it, but I want you to be assured that you are on the right track. And this is the video edit that you're looking for. And I do push this one out, not only because yours truly is also mentioned in there, but it is a fantastic, small, concise little video that you can push on to the nearest and dearest, those of us that are already in full agreement, quite possibly with Dave. But you could push that video out to those that are still confused, or still in group number 2, as Dave Computing Forever pushed it last night. So please give that a whirl and again push that one out. I think that's a great gambit, a great opening gambit to set the premise for conversation and what and where we all lie in various different groups. Those of you that caught Dave's Computing Forever's last drop, the Do you realize the rationalization of tyranny? Do you see yourself in category number 3? Or do you see yourself in category number 2? Do you know a great number of your close personal friends or those around you that are in group number 2, those that are confused by mainstream and alt media's information coming out? Or are you on the side? I definitely know none of you are on the side of number 1. Siobhan Rice says, brilliant, computing forever. Living a good life. We'll keep an eye on that as well. But it might have been it was a clever slight. Keep an eye on that. And the conversation in live chat is off the charts this morning. G3, absolutely free agent of Adams. I'd say a great many of us are in 3 here in this live chat for obvious reasons. But it's very cleverly, very well worded out, and very argumented and very, very well presented, as Dave's streams always are, as Dave's recordings always are. But a great little red pillar to push out to those that are still munching on a blue pill. Okay, with that over, train of thought, let me also bring up one of my old ones as well. Probably many of you probably haven't seen this one either. This is going back to the Wayback Machine. Let me pop it up here. I don't know many of you.
It's not that easy. Grammarly can help. Listen.
Let's skip that. There he is there, a little bit darker. The beard is not so much grey in at that time, but that's from 2018. I can't play this one for you. I want you just to have a look at the intro. The intro and just some of the start information that I was dropping out back then. And I'll play this one for you. Just the intro. Check out the intro. Remember them days. Remember them glory days. Those of you that have been with the Gran Torino experience for this long.
Us, everybody. Welcome to the Gran Torino. With me, your host,
Crichton Crukta.
Got an amazing board. Back to the whiteboard here this time. Got a few things need to be breaking down. I was away the weekend, had a lot on.
Yeah, regardless of that, jump in with that there. That there, for those of you unaware, but that ties into the theory of fruits of the poisonous tree. That is in relation to the legal proceedings that are being carried out now in regards to the FISA warrants, in regards to the charges against General Flynn, as we spoke. We go into a little bit of a breakdown with Carter Page and how Carter Page was used by the intelligence agencies to open up, as what President Trump would have described him, wiretapping. But essentially, Carter Page became a priority target, and all means of communication around him were then available. Whereabouts, Tommy? Were then available to be used by the intelligence agencies, and they were spying on campaigning Trump as he was then, and then a sitting president. We have the revelations of a coup d'etat against the sitting president of the United States. This is what is going to become more apparent. That, in conjunction with the crimes against humanity that Fauci and those cohorts could be also prosecuted with, could be stunning. But I believe we need to get group 2 of Dave's video broadcast. We need to get group 2 awoken to what is factually there in front of our eyes, what is being reported on now in the United States leading up to these prosecutions, and then keep an eye on Judy's whistleblowing. Should that be taken up by President Trump's administration, and her evidence be used in charges brought against Fauci? Fauci's then evidence could turn then on Gates. We could have, it could lead anywhere at the end of the day. Let's not get too carried away. But I think it's important enough for you to be aware of what's happening there along those strides. See you there as well, Eunice. Absolutely, I concur. And yeah, let's go back to over to Italy. This dropped last night, and I mentioned to you the previous articles that I spoke about, that the Italian government or the Italian people are considering pressing charges of manslaughter against a number of care homes, nursing homes over in Italy. Again, that's not beyond the realms of possibility to happening here. All things tying in, and the way our politicians, let's just say, let's be placated, let's be pleasant enough this morning, who are following lockstep in with the World Health Organization and the UN. The fact that we've got UN movement of troops, and some would say that our defense forces were traveling towards the Curragh, but they were still had their designation, their UN designation, and were traveling on Irish roads. As a military man, that to me, they should have been removed at the port of entry when that stock came back from their exercise, wherever they were positioned. They should have been rebadged before traveling on Irish roads. And if indeed they still did carry their UN designation, they should have been on the back of low loaders and covered up, because you're back on home territory, you're back on soil, on home soil. You should only have the designation of the Irish flag and what battalion you were with. Little side of things, little bit of OCD from me, but I'm assured that is. But why the UN were traveling on convoy down along the road, it's pretty fucking slack if that's what the Defence Forces do, if that's how they transport it around. But then again, as a matter of principle, as a matter of discipline, they should have been, those designations should have been removed, in my eyes anyway. Also, I'm going to push it out there last night, because also speaking with Angry Dad, those of you that are familiar, Angry Dad is a close personal friend of mine, and someone who I'm trying to get you to get on a podcast with me. The everyday man, the Angry Dad that we all are. Good morning, Del Boy. Big shout out. And I'm going to lead this out here as a soft thing. That reminds me, apologies on John Claffey's behalf. John couldn't make it last night. Business down on the farm just took precedence, and he was unable to get away at what we thought would be an aggrieved time. But I will not announce it till it's definitely confirmed next time. That's on you, John. It's on you, brother. You can take the ire of live chat. So looking forward to that interview with John. Hopefully he'll come back soon. Fiona Marie Flanagan is confirmed and joining us, and I believe we will set up a regular Friday night slot. Friday night broadcasts will be with myself and Fiona going forward tomorrow evening. So tune in for tomorrow evening, and we'll get a roundup of the week off Fiona and the latest information that she wants to steer us on, or the subjects that she wants to touch upon with us. So a quick one on this article here, just to bring to your attention as well. This is from April 25th. Italian MP, let me bring that up. I'll go through this one. Italian MP Sargi denounces Zigarbi denounces the statistical fraud on COVID-19. Now, I know a great many of you have already mentioned this morning that none of you are getting notifications. Please always consider, please check your subscription. If you're already subscribed, please check again that you are still subscribed. And also for the notifications before and during, don't forget to press the bell and you will be notified, hopefully by YouTube. But rest assured, we'll keep these regular broadcasts 9 o'clock in the morning, every morning. Tune in, whether you get it regardless of that. I will be here. And the evening ones, so far this week, I've been up for debate, a lot going on in the evenings. But Friday night is a definite with Fiona. And another interview that I'm working on as well with a member of the Defence Forces who was in and around, who served during the Congo. I know many of you will have a great interest in that, but also relieved the Jadotville troop that were in and around that time that we're all familiar about with now. And I want to get, hopefully I can bring him on and we can discuss that part of our history and get his feelings on the ground about what happened in Jadotville at the time. Vittorio Sargarbi denounces the closure of 60% of the businesses for 25,000 COVID-19 deaths, of which the National Institute of Health says 96.3% died not of COVID-19, but of other pathologies. That means only 925 have died of the virus. 24,075 have died of other things. He says false statistics are being used to terrorize the citizens of Italy and establish a dictatorship. He makes his statements on the vigil of April 25th, which celebrates the liberation of Italy by the Allied powers in World War II. Vittorio Sargarbi is a member of the Forza Italia party from Emilia-Romagna. The head of his party is Berlusconi. In the transcript, which follows parentheses, indicates interruptions from the floor. Here is an English translation of the transcript. The speech of the Member of Parliament, Vittorio Sargarbi, in the session of the Italian Camera Meeting number 331 of Friday, the 24th of April, 2020, regarding the approval of the Cura Italia decree. Quote, we are on the eve of April 25th and we must be united against dictatorships and united in truth. Let us not make this the house of lies, not on February 26th, but on March 9th. Science. The science evoked here said that the virus was little more than a flu. That science is what inspired this government. It is said, it has been said, it is documented, it has been said, do not lie. Then tell the truth. Do not make this the chamber of lies. At least here the principle of Giambattista Vico applies. Verum ipsum factum. And then you have heard and given the numbers. I want to give them to. No datatis, no pagani. Do not say 25,000 dead here too. It is not true. Don't use the dead for rhetoric and terrorism. The data from the Higher Institute of Health says that 96.3% died of other diseases. Comments from MP Trizano. Exactly, the data, the numbers say this. It's the truth. Go read them. I read them all. 60% died of other diseases, said by the Higher Institute of Health. If you don't know, study. Comments from Congressman Trizano. You are an ignorant. While Italy was a red zone, here everyone was without masks. Today, Bazzani is accused because he has to wear it. You're ridiculous. Comments from the MPs of Movimento 5-star group. You didn't wear it until the day before yesterday. That's exactly how it is. In Germany, the economy, healthcare and school on 4th of May will work perfectly. We are at a state with the least rights in Europe. I believe we are here in Ireland, are a state with the least rights in Europe. Germany has shown strength and the right response. We here are once again humiliated by Germany, even in illness. We have closed down 60% of businesses. I give data. Dear Trizano, go check them out. Now it is clear that I have the force to call for the closure of Parliament. Today are all here in disguise. While the other time there was only Dalasso, there were few who wore the mask, and today it is pointed out if you do not wear it. Well, precisely because the truth is the most important thing. Let us give the real numbers. Let us not continue to lie. There are certainly strong data. I read them here too. Trizano, 56% in Lombardy, 14% in Emilia, 8% in Piedmont, 5% in Veneto. We cannot imagine applying uniform rules which disparate areas of epidemic. So I say, at least here, let us tell the truth. Let us measure ourselves against Germany. Let us be united in liberation against hypocrisy and lies, against falsifications, against the false numbers that are given to terrorize the Italians. The 25,000 dead, as Professor Bassati said, died of heart attacks, cancer, and other diseases. Comments from the members of Movimento's 5 Stella Partido Democratico groups. Let's not use them to humiliate Italy. Let's not use them to give the citizens false news. Give the numbers, check them out, and I challenge you, Trizano, to a jury of honor to look at the numbers. I simply say they all give numbers, but they don't give false numbers. 25,000 coronavirus people didn't die in Italy. That's not true. It's a way to terrorize the Italians and impose a dictatorship of consent. It's ridiculous. Are you following live chat? So they were some of the transcripts from the Parliament in Italy. A lot of information starting to pour forward now. A lot of people coming forward also. So it's imperative to keep your eye on the alt media scene. But also, let's have a look and see what mainstream. Let's have a look what redundant, treacherous echo chamber reports. Will they start speaking about hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin, and zinc, the combination drugs being ascribed? We could follow the protocols that Judy outlines towards the end of the interview there on Value Entertainment. What she says also about immunosuppression, about wearing the mask, is also critical. Wearing the mask is like cooking the virus, the pathogen inside your lungs. It's also suppressing. Staying indoors in damp, dark rooms and cold rooms, even if you have the dry heat of your heating, is not for the benefit of your immune system. This can then cause the second wave that they are trying to push and proliferate on us to quantify the imposition and the destruction of our economy. Many of my friends, many of my other friends, all our small business owners, all are worried, sick out of their mind. And yet we are told we will be in lockdown for further 2 weeks. They will keep leading the trail out. They will keep dangling the carrot in front of you to try and reach for normality till you get to a point of desperation and will acquiesce and consent to taking the tattoo. You know what I mean by the tattoo? By taking the vaccine. Please, I encourage you, watch the interview with Judy. Understand the information. Understand who she is charging with crimes against humanity and treason. And this quantifier has 10 years. That book is 10 years of work that points out the bad actors and those complicit. And thereafter, we can see who the big players are. We have to keep it calm because these are allegations and we have to wait for this to drip feed out, but we can push it out. We can force that information, that perception, left and right, nationalists against globalists, whether you're of a left socialist idea, whether you're of a right conservative viewpoint, this affects us all. This is when we must come together. As John Waters hypothesized as well, there will come a time where we will align ourselves with the LGBT community, even though we've been taking swipes at each other for years. When you understand that this affects us all and this is coming after all of us, put aside your personal beliefs, put aside your political leanings and come together in the interest of the nation, of the people here on this island. Black, white, pink, yellow, whatever it is, I care not. We're all in this together. This affects us all, and there needs to be a national pushback. What I'm saying is arm yourself with the information. Ignorance is not an excuse anymore. Ignorance is not an excuse, and burying your head in the sand and screaming for normality. There is no sense of normality will ever come back. But if you relinquish your civil liberties for safety, you are perpetrating crimes against your own children and allowing them their futures to be stolen from them. The bankers are already done it, have already tried over the years to hide their crimes behind this coronavirus. And all of those bondholders, bankers, a lot of them need to be held under the eye of examination and prosecuted where it needs to be for illegalities. Come together, push the information out, unite against the thing, inform yourself of what the information that is coming out that mainstream will obfuscate, that they will try to hide because they are embedded with the political class. They are cheerleaders for the political class so that they will do their master's bidding. And that falls in line with our mid-militant politicians. They will do their master's biddings. That comes from Brussels. But Brussels is also compromised because of Gates and the World Health Organization. And they are now being used with their foot soldiers, their own private army of the United Nations. So it's incumbent upon all military men to understand that this is infiltration and not invasion. And stand up and prepare yourself. Fail to prepare to fail. Don't know where that came from. Live chat, my apologies. Okay, I want to... And again, I want to pop this one up here as well. This is from the Patriot Gale last night. And this just strikes me as startling. Not only is our political system being allowed to have people that have no understanding of what our democratic wills, but will just vote for people that come in and promise to give them free shit for life. The course they're just going to go with that. If that's all their understanding is. And they will vote for the party that gives them vaccinations and safeties and allows them to carry on in the welfare state. That's why you see them walking into mosques. And again, this is not my criticism of my Muslim friends or my Muslim brothers and sisters. It is a criticism of the politicians aligning themselves now with the new voter bloc that they are trying to usurp us. They are trying to steal our vote by demographically washing us away out of history. They're trying to wash away 1,000 years of history. Micheál Martin has said it. Leo Varadkar has said it. Mary Lou McDonald even ascribes to it that sovereignty is a backward idea and we look forward to a new world organization. They are all in it together. They are all pushing for the same piece of the pie that they want to get themselves in. They care not a shit about you because they're already using foreign nationals as foot soldiers, some of the political parties. They're already using the black markets to aid and fund their political parties. We are well aware of that. But we need to come together as citizens because even with all of them aligned, they will still all drown in our piss once we come together as the majority. 80%, 70% of people do not vote. They are the sleeping masses. But when you understand your children's lives, their children's lives, our grandchildren's lives are being stolen under the guise of safety, the stealing of civil liberties for your own protection, scaring you, not for your own personal safety, but for those of you that are elderly in your family, or those that are elderly somewhere else, by infecting them. This is a deadly pathogen, but it kills the immunosuppressed. It kills the elderly. It kills those with congenital diseases, those that are weak. And that is unfortunate. But there is, as is being lauded and pushed out, there is a combination of drugs that can assist, that Brazil is being used against, that Italy will now jump on and ascribe and jump into, that is being administered in other Eastern European countries, but will not be spoken about. We have to inform ourselves. We have to say that we want the cure, not the vaccination. We want the cure. The cure is there, it's being lauded and taunted. But it's our mainstream and global mainstreams, which are controlled by the few, and they're on mass corporate entities. And we know who controls our media entity over here. You know that if you go up against him, that you are going to be prosecuted. What journalist would risk that? They'd rather just keep their comfortable lifestyles and push out the same old Trotskyite shite, even though they don't believe in it. They just want to maintain their comfortable lifestyle. But now, because of coronavirus, their lifestyles are going to come under scrutiny, because journalists are being let go to beat the band, because nobody's buying papers, because they told us that cash is imperfect. So papers are imperfect. We can't touch them. You have been used. You're following a line for the comfort for your own self, but you have been used. Not all journalists. There's still one or two great journalists out there as well here in the Republic of Ireland. But stand out on your own platforms now. David Quinn, get yourself a YouTube channel and get yourself out there. What's his name? Callaghan. What's Callaghan's first name? Tony Callaghan, speaking out on Facebook, 56,000 followers. Get yourself on YouTube, get yourself speaking and speak out. Anyway, I'm not going to have a slide there. I was going to pop that up there. This is important. I'll finish out on this one as well. I would have been accused of attacking refugees on the last one, but I just swear to it. Apparently, you can, as a refugee, even in an asylum centre, apply to become An Garda Síochána. So even though you've no business being in this country, you could now be accepted to get into An Garda Síochána and come here and tell Irish citizens how to rule their lives or keep them under lock and key. As a refugee, can you not see the fucking nonsense in this place? Sorry for the early morning cursing. That's the limited state, the demonetization is going to kick in there. Just to bring it on home to you people, this from the Irish Independent. More than 70% of people are living in a home that is too big for the needs. Can you see the persuasion language? Can you see what you're being set up for? You're living in a house, a 4-bedroom house, which you and your husband, you and your wife, you and your family have bought, strive, paid a mortgage for. But now coming into latter stages of your years, we want to push you into a nursing home. Oh, by the way, the nursing homes are now turning into abattoirs. That's where we can effectively get rid of you. Take your property, smack your children with inheritance tax that it's only like half the value, even if that, and the state grabs all again. But meanwhile, while you're lying in a nursing state, if you do indeed survive that trauma, we will charge you $1,500 to $2,000 a week to stay in a nursing home. To people that some people are being taken care of that cannot even speak the language. And I am not having a slight at them. There is no duty of care in them nursing homes. They are fucking murder zones now, what they are doing to those people. And it's being held up and it's not being spoken about. Only Davy Quinn I seen mention to it. Only Professor Honkelberg on Twitter mentioned it as well. We are at the precipice of a scandal that will dwarf the Magdalene laundries about what's going on in those nursing homes. And it's not being investigated about. And it's not being spoken about on mainstream. Because they are buying into the establishment, because they are buying in and hiding and running cover for their friends in the political classes. It's all been very nepotistic and in-house and all around each other. But you're going to get exposed now. So you either step out now and reveal it, and let's get it done. This, just the headline alone is set me off. But this is communist takeover. This is no respect for property rights. There's your property rights gone. Is this the progressiveness of liberalism, that your house is too big for you? So I think we should take that off you and we will stick somebody else in it, because you don't deserve that for a house, because we're the state and we know what's best for you, because most of you are going to be feeding off. Most of the people now, as Dave said in his video, are going to be living off the state. And if you want your benefits or your access to the new state, to the new world order, then you're going to have to get your tag, then you're going to have to wear its chip, then you're going to have to take the vaccination, because we're going to use that as a tool to suppress and inform on dissenters. As Dave said, and other people have said, people are ringing in and phoning in and ratting each other in the United Kingdom. That's disgraceful, but that's going to come here if it's not already here. Snitches already snitching out on their others. They're turning us against each other. The nationalist movement is a uniting movement for all people, left and right, young and old, because it's about us together. We're all in this together. And these fucks are buying in with the EU. They cannot claim ignorance, because I showed you the video yesterday. They were all swinging at a party in 2002, and they're still having parties in a central Dublin hotel owned by a certain person, made mention in the comments section. They're laughing at us because we walk around distracted and attacking each other. That's by design, the way they want us. They use the trope of cultural Marxism to separate us. They use the language of intersectionality. They look for more and more minority groups so they can represent the smallest minority group and fracture our society further and further and further. Our kids have been blinded by culture that I don't even know how you could call it culture. If you are ascribed to Lady Gaga, and now you understand and inform yourself her ties to Maria Abramovich and her ties then to Bill Gates, and you can see how they have propagated that message, how they have rotted your mind to denigrate not only women, but young women, children, following that shit. On the money there, 1620 potato. Was it? No, Bob the Biker. I'll try and get through this article and then we'll sign off, because we're coming up on the hour mark. Ireland might be suffering a major housing and homelessness crisis. Where's the homelessness? It's not a homelessness crisis we have. It's an immigration crisis that we have. And it's the immigration that you and all the business friends, that all your friends, your builder friends, buying up hotels at market value, snapping them up, and then filling them up at taxpayers' expense, turning over profit on people's misery, human trafficking, all of those that are aligned with the Soros group and the rest of them. You're all complicit in lining your own pockets on people's misery, regardless of where they're from and who they are. It's on people's misery. You're making your money on people's misery, and that needs to be prosecuted. And when an attorney general in our institutions, God help us that if we ever maintain and get resemblance or control of this country again, that we prosecute those. If these charges ever go ahead and people are saying that the death penalty can come back for crimes against humanity, then the day of the rope is not a good place, or a life imprisonment at the very least. For those of you that don't agree with the death penalty, I understand. Let's have a referendum on it. Let's have a referendum on changing the Constitution by using this draconian medical emergency legislation to bypass the Constitution, as our Constitution has been under attack and shredded, but not because of the causes that they were supposed to constitutionally change, but by submitting and inserting other paragraphs. I remind you of the Dr. Goebbels, Dr. Death, him who's being touted by mainstream as the Lord Savior in this country as a medical emergency. Him that was the patsy behind the cervical screening that destroyed, killed and murdered women and children by offering and pushing it out, the cervical screening, to third-party, ineffectual, corrupt screening service. And again, the mainstream media ran cover for him. And again, they're running mainstream cover for him again. He brought down the last government. But again, this man is in charge of our country. And again, the Gardaí are going above and beyond to enforce themselves. Checkpoints, guns on display, battens. 15,000 is all there is. 15,000 guards in totality. Do not pit yourself against the citizens. Do not risen the mire of the people. Respect your citizens. You're there to protect them, not to enforce these draconian laws. You're there to protect them. Are you serving your oath correctly? We all understand. I know what an oath is. Are you serving your oath to protect the citizens against foreign and domestic, if that was the case over here in Ireland? The defence forces, are you going to take to the streets and corral and push those that will not take a vaccination, stick them into camps because you're doing your duty? Do your duty. When you take that uniform off, you will be under those laws. Your children will fall under those laws should you become not used to any of the government institutions. But once you've played your part by wearing that uniform, are you going to be complicit and put the jackboot knife on your fellow citizen? I ask you, I encourage you, do your understanding. Do not turn on your fellow citizens. Actually, you know what? I'm going to sign off there because I'm getting a bit carried away. I do apologize. That's much more of an uncontrolled rant than I wanted really to have. But the understanding of all the information that's coming together, the emotion that's primarily for the children, primarily for our future generations, for all our future generations. We must all come together. We must all try and forgive each other and have our political leanings, but absolutely just try and come together for the sake of all our children and just defend ourselves against what is a totalitarian control. Okay. Enough of the ranting and raving from the Gran Torino this morning. I was attacked by a fellow YouTuber on my Twitter this morning. Absolutely despicable, Adam. How dare you? But I'm not going to engage. I did send him a little reply back, but appreciate that, Marmalade. So don't forget, I've got a good friend of mine who's working on some new merchandise. Ladies, you'll be pleased to know that he's also adding. We're going to update the female cut of the t-shirts because they've all been male. Again, I'm not a PR guy, but I have asked a good friend of mine, my good friend Mountain Bear is jumping in to give me a hand. Appreciate that, Mountain Bear. And watch out for a new line of merchandise in the merch store just to help pay the way, to keep us going, to keep us platformed, because we're going to be out in the streets, out and about again, and we need your support to keep out here. We need your support to keep having these rants and holding these people to account and bringing you the information from afar and abroad that they will not show you, that they try and hide so they can steer their narrative through. We're not going to allow that to happen here. This is ours. This is us. Okay, live chat, let's do this thing. Your age, your name, where you are. Let's have our roll call, and so that people all around the world can see who is here with us, who is joining me now this morning, and where you are all around the world today. Appreciate that, Nikki. Appreciate that. Fantastic. Have we got any comments over there from the Facebook? Facebook, I don't want to leave you out and forget about you. I have not forgotten about you. Appreciate that, Gerald. Oh, let me just throw that one up there. That's the last one I seen. Thank you, Gerard. I don't have. I tell you what, you can add it. The Teespring link is from Teespring, which is the United States. But if you know of an Irish supplier that can supply it, I would gladly switch over. I was giving logos to you, but it's crazy. So any of you, leave them in your comment section. You know any suppliers? I'll definitely use them. Okay, let's get into this. We have Bob the Biker 45 from Fun Leary. Hang 'em high. Maureen O'Leary 59 from Colin Kilty, West Cork. Liam Fleming, Ballinascarty, West Cork. Nicky Wright Petru 49, Cyprus. And to you, 1620, Ash Westport, 30 years of age. Great stuff, comforting. John Smith, 31 in Cork. We have John Francis, 29, born in Newry, living in Hatvan, Hungary for 9 years now. More and more information is coming, John. Keep spilling it out. Celtic Cross is 56 in Dublin. Paul Kay, 52 in Wexford. Peter Stewart in Belfast. Peter, you're not the one that's doing the Facebook, or is that a United Kingdom gentleman? Come back to me. Kieran Heelan, 44 in Tipperary. Derek O'Byrnes, Derek 35, Bangkok, 2-month ban on alcohol. Hounded it down is still 60 in Down. Sorry about that, Derek. I don't mean to laugh at you on your misery. British Reactor Tube, 21 in Herefordshire. Jacinta Jadwick is 71 in Dublin. God bless. Keep it going, Jacinta. E. Fagan, Evelyn, 33, Tipperary, where we go one, we go all. Jack Delad is 42, Dublin South. Kemenon Taku is Patrick, 54 in Los Angeles. Simon Crawford is 30 in, where'd you go there, Simon? In Clare. Let me go back up. I missed a few there. We have Andrea Murphy is 30 in Cork. Good morning, Andrew. Thanks for joining us. E. Fagan, Evelyn, 33 in Tipperary. I already read that. Mary's board, 48 in Leash, minding my granddaughter. Enjoy that, Mary. Precious moments. Enjoy it. Earthsguard 81, 38 in California. Dream of making California. And we will do the doors sooner or later. Keep at us to do the doors. Danny is 54 in London. MJ is 31 in Shankill. Eunice in a gangbang, 40 in Zimbabwe. Back to you. Townsend 11, City Centre. Simon Hayes, 45 in Limerick, smiling and optimistic. Moscow 1996, 50 in London, and is from Limerick. Adam Darcy is 37 in New York City. Tracy Bree is 48 in the county of Cork. Roshan Mangan is a Belfast girl living in Bray. Kurt Schuster is Kurt Wexford, 56. And Susie Am is I am from Woo, 50 flew. We have Jack the Lad. We got you. Philip Carvey, 37 Caherlack, Celtic capital of Ireland. Probably more than that. You'll probably get onto me for that one. We have Pepe Yadawake is 53 in Rosslare. Bill Norton, 60 plus in Luton. Don Quixote, tipping at windmills, 50, Peterborough, and still sober. Kenneth Noel Curran, 68 plus 158 days, still in York, euphoric. Richie McEvitt is 50 from Donegal. Quite a list this morning too, but we managed to get through it. Ireland's Blue Eye, Belfast lad, 43. Thanks for joining me, brother. Alan Curran, Kenny 70, give no consent to unlawful legislation. Keep fighting a good fight, Alan. We have Michael Native, 37 in High Brassel. Tommy is 27 in Carlow. And appreciate your support as well, Tommy. Susie Q, 45, Dublin. God bless you. Lynn Jackson, Wicklow, getting older by the minute. Aren't we all, sister? Mary's Borders, Rhodesia forever. Oof. I say. Anthony Shields, Anti Drogheda, 44. And Shamrock 96 in Fink. Okay, that's where we rounded up today. And we've just gone over the 1 hour mark. Patriots, keep yourself safe. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, press the like button, press the subscription. And if you could, please consider leaving a comment in the comment section below. Also, if you could, please consider supporting this platform on the various many links in the description box down below. Please, Patriots, go. Please, citizens all around, do your information, do your research. Go check out Judy and that interview this morning and have yourself a blessed day. Look in for about 7 p.m. tonight, GMT, and we'll see if we'll stream tonight. And let me know, let me feel the love in the comment section, and I might stream tonight. But we will be having Fiona Marie Flanagan on tomorrow. Okay, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy. Sorry for the rants. That's why we do it. Stay safe. Us.